the boss.
Oh, yeah. Hey!
Hi.
Welcome to the Boss Podcast, the Berlin Open Stage Show.
Yes, the podcast where we let anyone sign up to host an hour-long podcast recording over the internet at this point in time, and we get all kinds of exciting people on the show, exciting entertainers and thinkers and doers and makers and
and candlestick makers and Quakers.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This week we're really excited about this because, like Trevor said, I'm Steintor, by the way. I don't think
I'm
we
Trevor.
introduced ourselves. We get entertainers, we get celebrities sometimes, and this week we have a celebrity hosting what is becoming a tradition for us. We've teamed up with big movie studios who have had to.
All of them, I think.
Yeah, all of them. We have exclusive deals with all of them. Studios that have had to postpone their movies because of the pandemic, and they already recorded commentary, DVD commentary, to be released with the movie when it eventually comes out, and that's not going to be for a while with the current situation. We were able to release the Tenet DVD commentary.
To massive success. I mean, we spoiled a lot of Tenet, I think, unfortunately, but it was like a big deal for us.
I mean, it's your choice whether to continue listening or not, because, you know...
Spoiler one, we should call this spoiler alert.
Yeah, absolutely. This week, we have the DVD commentary for the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Which isn't coming out until October.
No, they gave it to us really early,
Yeah.
and this is like a really exciting. They went big with this DVD commentary.
The thing is, they haven't shown us the movie. We're just
we have no idea.
Like you, we're just listening to the commentary, which is
in
like
the
a
dark. Yeah.
very strange experience. But it's
Exactly.
all the more easy because it's hosted by the great, legendary British comedian John Cleese.
I mean, this is cool for us because obviously this is a comedy show first and foremost. So
Yeah.
I would say that there's probably no bigger inspiration for you and I than the Python.
Absolutely,
You know?
the Monty Python gang. How to irritate people was really big for me.
Yeah, and people don't maybe, I guess we can take a moment just before we get into this intro of this episode, but people don't, who never saw the live show, if you're listening, Stainer and I did the silly walk every time we came into the theater.
Absolutely. We are totally on board with everything Terry Gilliam says, and we are very excited to present this week's episode where, without further ado, the commentary for the James Bond 007 No Time to Die with John Cleese.
Yeah, well, hello everybody. It's me, John Cleese. I'm here, one of the Pythons myself. I'm here. Everybody knows me, and I also am here in Nevins in the Caribbean, my home. I've emigrated here in 2018. And I'm very excited to be doing a Berlin Open Stage Show podcast in a special partnership with a brand new motion picture. I have had the pleasure of being part of many films over the years. Oh, The Holy Grail, The Life of Brian, The Meaning of Life, of course, and Fish Called Wanda, and also, I had the bloody pleasure of being in a Bond film myself. Britain's greatest export is James Bond, and I got to play Q. Well, I got to play R at first, and then when Desmond Llewellyn died, of course, sadly, rest in peace, the humidity here makes my mustache do wonderful things. I got to play Q. And I have kind of kept in touch with the films. I think maybe we'll just leave my mustache off for a little bit. Give the mustache a little bit of a respite. With the beautiful island around me, I don't really, need to stress much. Anyway, let's get rolling on. We've been asked to do a very, very special DVD commentary for the new upcoming Bond film, No Time to Die. Oh, what a wonderful title. No Time to Die reminds me of all those wonderful Bond films we used to have. It's a great blast from the past, as I like to think. were better days, especially for the crown, and the kingdom and everything. But I won't get too sidetracked about my opinions of England these days. But anyway, I've got some wonderful guests here joining me on this DVD commentary that's being released ahead of time. And then you get a little sneak preview at the film through the commentary of the cast or crew that worked on it and people who consulted. So without any more delay, I welcome one of our wonderful guests returning from the previous version of DVD commentary, Richard Mccullough.
Hello, Mr. Cleese. It's me, Richard Mccullough.
Thank you, Richard. And we'll come back a little bit more for you and moving on to not only a very, 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 very wonderful contributor to British cinema, but someone who has worked probably with me many times, Baroness Furwood.
Hello, it is absolutely wonderful to speak with you today. Thank you so much. And I
Wonderful.
must say your tone today, John, is marvelous. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last, and of course not least, someone very close to the star, to our Bond himself. Please, everyone, give a very warm welcome to Daniel Craig's brother, Nathaniel Craig.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
You're not going to talk about what?
I did say specifically I didn't want to talk about my brother.
Okay, well, very difficult to avoid it, isn't it?
Let's just go again. Let's pick it off just before you introed me. Just intro me as actor, writer, producer.
And okay,
Sorry,
well,
Nathaniel
could I possibly give you a slight note there, Nathaniel? You sound somewhat common. And James Bond, he's meant to be a classy, well-educated man, and I do think maybe you would do better in your attempts to emulate your brother's success if you sounded a little more upper class, let's say.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen me play Bond. Okay, you haven't seen me take a stab at Bond himself.
Well,
right now, I'm just playing.
This is awkward.
Commentary.
I think maybe we should perhaps keep the show going on. I don't want to get caught up in whatever's going on between you two over there. So let me introduce you again, then, Nathaniel. Without my mustache, I tried to put it back on, and it's not happening.
You're having facial problems.
I'm having what they refer to as facial problems. So give it up for Nathaniel Craig, actor, writer, producer extraordinaire.
It's great to be here, John.
Thank you very much.
I'm a huge fan.
Thank you very much. So,
You were a better cue for me. You were a better cue.
well, thank you. I think the films have maybe lost a little bit of humor since I left, and I say that because I did one scene in one film and then a couple scenes in another film. And it was really, really the highlight of my career. So, Richard, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your experience working on this film, what you do, what you have done.
Well, as an espionage consultant, I worked on many films. I have a background with the CIA, the NSA, the KGB, whatever they have in China. I have a background with all of those services. And
So you're a bit of a spy. Huh?
yes, you could call me a spook.
You what?
A
What did you say?
spook.
A spook?
Yeah.
I thought you said you were a book.
Yeah, you could call me a book of knowledge about espionage all
Yes,
over the
so
world,
you-
and that is why they reach out to me to consult on these films and help out in any way possible.
Well, it must be a wonderful industry to work in spycraft, I think. I mean, lots of opportunities for physical comedy, perhaps.
Well, there's nothing funny about having your neck snapped by the likes of me, I can tell you that, Mr. Cleese.
Oh dear indeed. Well,
Where will this bit sit on the DVD? How will this all be integrated into the DVD?
it's going to be on the DVD in the special features.
Yeah, but the movie starts, the commentary starts.
Yes. So
Is this going to be over the start of the film?
where this
we haven't
intro-
even.
No. The film hasn't started yet.
Okay.
We're going to start the film.
All right.
You're just going to
and,
have a black screen for a few minutes while this plays, and
Yes,
then when the
precisely.
film starts,
Okay.
we'll talk about it.
Precisely. Maybe, I mean, they won't put this video up, that's for sure, because they'll have to pay me royalties. And geez, John Cleese
Yeah.
royalties.
Yeah.
That's money that goes
I'm just
directly to
thinking-
your ex-wife, doesn't it?
Yes, precisely. And they wouldn't want that.
Of course.
So,
It just seems like something people might skip, that's all. Just a thought.
well, then, bring it up with the podcast, the producers themselves, I think. Maybe we can just get Nathaniel, since you've spoken up quite a bit, let's get a little bit from Baroness first, a background on you.
Thank you so much, John Cleese. First of all, I'm such a fan of your work.
Thank you.
If it was up to me, I do believe you should have been knighted already.
Oh.
I think Sir John Cleese would be absolutely marvelous. I will have a word with the Queen. I do, of course, know her personally.
Oh, I mean, please do say hello, but
Yes.
tell her I don't want it.
I'm sure you do, John. Let's be honest now.
Oh, why would I? I'm here in Nevins, beautiful Caribbean island, and there's everything's really great here. There's nothing that it reminds me of England at all. The government works, everybody's happy. There's no problems whatsoever for anyone of any class.
You
really.
do sound surprisingly chipper. But yes, so my name is Baroness Furwood, and I did indeed help out with the film as a dialect coach. As you can tell, I am
Wonderful.
very well spoken. As I said, I am friends with the Queen. I am a baroness, which of course means I am richer than everyone in the film put together. And basically, I'm just here to make sure that the language of James Bond is precise and accurate. And of course, the American actors that are now part of this film, against my advisement, use their pronunciation and enunciation and voices correctly.
Yes, and actors not just from America. We have Christoph Waltz also in the film. You worked with Christoph.
Oh yes. It's interesting teaching the Germans, of course, and the Austrians, whichever one he is. It's all the same to me. You'd appreciate that one, wouldn't you, John? Sir John.
Yes, that reminds me of jokes we used to make all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I remember.
Yes, and
That's a bingo. That's a bingo.
that's a Monty Python bingo, perhaps, is what you mean.
That's the Christoph Waltz line.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Don't mention the war.
Anyway, so Nathaniel Craig, actor, writer, producer, tell us a little bit about your storied individualistic career.
Well, I'm constantly writing, constantly producing, and it's a funny story. Actually, I was supposed to be in this film because Danny Boyle was supposed to be directing.
Correct.
And I actually am very good associates with Danny Boyle, but when he flew the coop, wasn't room for me in a role. It was going to be playing Bond's brother, but it's good not to regret these things and just move on. And there's a lot of exciting projects in the pipeline.
That must have been very exciting for you, an actor, to play a brother to James Bond, a person played by an actor, that you have no relation to.
Well, yeah. I don't want to talk about Dan. Okay.
Okay.
I've talked about Dan enough. It's all online.
Well,
Let's just say that I think I would have blown him off the screen.
very good. We wish we could see this, but alas, we won't see that.
Well, I
instead
feel like
we're
we've
gonna
talked enough about Daniel Craig. I mean,
Yeah.
that guy. Why are they even hiring him to play Bond? When
Yeah.
there are other actors, maybe some actors that have played roles like Batman, already kind of a spy. If you think about it, absolutely disappearing
I
into
must
roles.
say-
I could very well imagine George Clooney, perhaps.
No, you wouldn't.
I must
you
say
wouldn't work.
the purse of Daniel's lips when he says the word martini, it really is quite marvelous, and it's something that we had to sit together and discuss for many hours. He just looked into my eyes and said, "Martini," and I would say, "No, Daniel, it's martini," and he would look back at me and he would say, "Martini," and there was a really wonderful vibe going on. I don't know if it would be the same with you, Nathaniel, to be honest.
Now, that must have been a very wonderful vibe.
I'm with Richard looking at this movie through the prism of a dislike. I don't know where you are, Cleese, but
Nevins.
I feel like they could have done a lot better.
I'm in Nevins. It's an island in the Caribbean.
Nevins. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think we've probably talked long enough about all this good stuff, introducing each other. And now we finally can fade away
Please, let's start the movie.
The image of saying, please sit still and listen to these people talk before the film starts. That's what's been on the screen, I imagine, the whole time. And now let's roll the credits. So what we've got starting off the film is, of course, the Sony Pictures logo. Very exciting. And then that obviously is just going to fade into the other, Universal Pictures logo. And then, of course, the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer logo.
You're just describing everything you see. Is that what this commentary is about? You normally talk about
well, the film is
thoughts
okay.
and reflections.
Are
get to
you
it now.
pausing it while Nathaniel has his interlude?
No. We're going to keep
This
talking.
isn't
We're
an
not
interlude.
allowed to pause it at any
Right,
moment
okay.
after this. So the film is, and here we are. Okay.
I have to say that the title that just came up, No Time to Die,
Yes.
extraordinary title. I mean, to me, all of Spycraft is about kind of tautological, kind of stupid titles. I mean, you look at old Bond movies, Never Say Never Again, Live and Let Die, it's all meaningless crap. And that is what most of Spycraft is.
Meaningless crap.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
actually
about being
have-
mundane.
I actually have great issues with the title No Time to Die because it is actually grammatically incorrect. The title I suggested was I'm terribly sorry, but I do not currently have any time to pass away. That would be a more grammatically
Yes.
correct and proper way to phrase the title of
Or,
this.
or even more correct. I have no time to watch this film.
Yes. And I'm very good. It's very good that we can keep talking all about this title that you talked about, Baroness, because right now the theme song from Billie Eilish is playing. And isn't this wonderful to have a young American pop star, only, I think, 17 years old, writing a Bond song? Oh,
Has she been to finishing
Shall we
school
sit-
yet? Has she finished finishing school?
I don't think so.
Oh gosh.
There's no time to die. There's,
Yeah, you like the song?
there's no
Nathaniel?
time to die. Sorry, I was just singing along.
Yeah, well,
Do you guys want to sing along?
no.
I ran a background check on Billie Eilish.
Oh,
She
please do tell.
has a multitude of disguises, different hair colors, and different hoodies that she wears, and I checked her out, made sure that she was in order to approach the production in this manner.
Yeah, and she's quite forthcoming about her perhaps mischief. She has this one song where she says, I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy.
She's a bad guy, yeah.
So what's interesting to me about these opening titles is, we see Bond surrounded by these women in this sort of montage, this artistic montage. But Daniel himself, when he was kid, he was useless with women.
Very interesting.
It just shows you the fabrication, I guess, at the core of Hollywood.
But how did you do with women, Nathaniel? Are you older or younger
Well, I taught-
than him? Or?
Yeah, I taught Daniel everything he knows. Funnily enough, and it's just it's funny that he's now James Bond and everything. Everyone thinks he's this ladiesman. Everyone thinks he's a ladiesman.
I mean,
A
isn't
ladies'
he
man.
happily married to? Isn't he married to Rachel Weisz? So wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's a sweet girl.
Yeah, I mean,
she's a
she's
sweet girl.
one of
And
the best actresses out there.
She's made her bed and she's got a lie in it now.
And Baroness, you work with Rachel all the time. Rachel's wonderful.
Oh, she is an absolute darling. All those films that she's been in, I really, I there's too many for me to name, but
Of course,
I really.
What's
help
your
her.
favorite one, though?
If I was to name my favorite one, it
Just one of your favorites.
I would say, probably it was the one where she was.
Just the favorite. Just whichever
No,
the favorite
you
of
know
yours
what, the
is.
name escapes me, but it was this one particular film where she was a sister, and
Just the favorite of yours.
the favorite. Yes, it was Sister Session.
The German title for the favorite. I believe.
Yes, indeed. Yes, that was a really marvelous film. That one.
Yes. It's incredible. And the titles have just, at this very moment, ended, of course, and we open on an opening image of our film, which is a clock. It's a clock.
Yes, representing the time
Yes,
that
and
doesn't
there's
exist
no time.
to die.
I actually had to test various clocks because it was important for me that the ticking sound had the correct sort of British
Queen's
sound.
tick.
Exactly. The Queen's tick. Oh, perfect, Johnny. Knew exactly what I was going to say.
Yes.
The Queen's tick is more of a tick.
Now, this is the moment where I suggested to director Fukunaga that he should call the film "Sometime to Live."
Carrie.
because
Sort of a interesting twist, yes.
But I don't know.
What's interesting to me so far is that the there's normally a cold open in a Bond film.
Yes.
There's normally a big action set piece, and then we have the opening titles. Whereas I don't know what happened. Maybe Dan blew the opening action scene somehow. Maybe he fell off.
Very, very much out of
building
the
or something.
ordinary. I usually love the opening scenes, the cold open, because it always throws me right in the action. So now it's a very slow entrance in this film. So we started on the clock, we're moving into a scene, and where are we? We're in the headquarters of MI6, of course. So, and here we are, and then there he is talking to Ben Whishaw, who's playing Q. So
Goes right into it first scene. He's arming up, getting ready for the mission.
Yes, it's a long monologue from Ben Whishaw here.
Yes, and of course he's Eton educated, so we know that he's one of the good and proper actors, as all actors should be from Eton.
Yes, and of course
This must hurt you, John. You know, watching the role that should be yours taken by someone else.
Well, it's. I'm glad we're talking about this because obviously Ben is talking for quite some time and he's going on and on about the newest weapon in Bond's arsenal: social media. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
so
this is something
Bond
that
has
I
got
brought.
Twitter now.
This is something that I brought to the attention of the filmmakers: is that mind control is the greatest weapon that we have in the Western Hemisphere now, and the Eastern one in any hemisphere on any planet. If you really get into the mind of people, you can make them do pretty much anything. With the snap of my fingers, I could have any one of you take up the next sharp object in your room and jam it right into your forehead. I could do that with a snap of a finger.
My goodness.
That's so true, Richard. You've hit the nail on the head there about the power of social media.
I mean,
Yeah,
I do
and just
find
using
that-
my Twitter account, I could do that. Is what
I do find that hard to believe, Richard, because you speak with such a gruffle in your throat. And have you considered what I recommended to Tom Hanks when I worked with him was to actually suck on a slice of lemon, and the acid really melts that throat. And if you tried the same thing, you might find that you speak with more of a smoother tone, perhaps.
I can tell you that I can change my voice at will. I can actually change my body as well. I can become much fatter or way skinnier. I actually have become very skinny in the past, and a lot of people praised me for it. But I have also become very fat, and a lot of people.
I remember.
Yeah, please
I
go.
remember seeing a picture of you imitating the current not the current, the former vice president of the
it's
United
true.
States, Mike Pence.
Well, there was some kind of a mix-up where for a while I thought that I had to become a body double for Mike Pence, and I imagined him being much larger than he is in real life. So I gained a little weight, no problem, because I had done it in the past. I mean, Mike Pence, that guy. I mean, and because of course we were all at the Capitol. January 6th. I mean, that guy, he didn't even come close to there. You know, I was walking around there, but he was back there in the West Wing, just walking around like nothing was more normal than the vice president not joining into an armed insurrection planned by social media.
Yes. It's true, we were all at the Capitol, all of us. We definitely all met there. We had a little chat. I remember seeing each of your faces at the United States Capitol on January 6th. But we don't have much time, I think, to talk about it because the scene is coming to. Well, maybe we'll come back to it. The scene is coming to a close where Ben is explaining, Q is explaining social media, and it's very, very, very interesting the way they've depicted social media. I mean, we see Bond's avatar on Twitter flying across the screen, and we see he's tweeting.
I think the villain in this movie is very much a surrogate for Mark Zuckerberg, a sort of evil version of Mark Zuckerberg. That's what I read in the
Yes,
script
Rami
that I read.
Malek. I made the point of telling the director under threat of violence that any scene Rami Malek is in needs to be edited very quickly. There's a lot of quick edits in all the scenes that he's in.
I mean, it's been successful in the past when they won Best Editing for Bohemian Rhapsody. Wonderful film about Queen, not the Queen.
Yes, I was very disappointed about that, I must say.
About the film Bohemian Rhapsody not being about the Queen.
Absolutely, yes. And
bloody
much
no
misleads you with the title,
rhapsodies
though.
or classical music at all.
And she's a bohemian, if anyone is.
Oh, gosh, I don't know if I would agree with that. I mean, bohemian implies all sorts of plebs. But
Very
but
well
I
done.
have to say, going back to the movie, of course, what we have now is Daniel Craig and the introduction of the first Bond girl, who is in fact a social media influencer that he starts following on Instagram.
Yes, and that is being played by
Leah Seydoux.
Leah Seydoux, yes. A wonderful actress playing a social media influencer that he follows in the film. I'm
Name of the character is Dr. Madeline Swan,
yes, exactly.
which is
She's a
Doctor
verified
of-
account on Twitter.
Doctor of Social Media.
Exactly. And I know a thing or two about social media. I mean, I'm on Twitter. Any of you guys on Twitter?
Yes.
No, I if it had been called something a bit more descriptive and rather a full sentence rather than a single word, then I might have been interested.
So you're more interested in social media sites that are full sentences in the name.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of
Yes, I just saw that you followed me on IamWritingTextNow.com.
yes, that was a wonderful website, I have to say, and I do love all of the pictures of you gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight
Absolutely.
again.
On Pictures.com.
Now, this I'm writing text. Is this a place where people who describe themselves as liberal Democrats but then can say wildly racist things might find a nice following on?
Absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely full of that sort of a middle class, champagne socialist swingers, if you will.
Well, I'll be signing up, I think. Anyway, so now we've moved on from the social media world. We're back in the real Bond world. So Bond has emerged back, and now he's at a bar.
Well, Leah Seydoux seemed very scared. Seems like she's being chased by a nefarious social media giant.
Yeah. And
So Bond's going to help her
And
out.
so, Nathaniel, you were a part of the original plan for the film with Danny Boyle, so you must have some insight into where this film all goes.
Well, I don't, to be honest, because Danny Boyle had a very interesting take on it, and they, as you can see, they've gone for the sort of the very obvious popular version of that, which is social media. So it's probably when this is released, I can't imagine it doing that well. Danny Boyle's vision, it was the story of brotherly love. James Bond dies at the end,
Wow.
and then I can spoil it now.
I guess it's
But
not
yeah, I was
happening this
gonna.
one.
They were gonna have to train me up to replace him because I look like him.
Well,
You look exactly like him.
it's always a shame when an agency loses an asset, but everyone who signs up for the job knows that it's part of it. And at any moment, you could be in the thick of it. You could be a deep cover agent anywhere in the world, and at the snap of a finger, a Twitter account forces you to take a pen and jam it into your forehead.
Well, and while we're talking about this, the film has cut. We're no longer in London, which is, Bond are globe-trotting films always. And now we're in a little house, it looks like surrounded by computers in Macedonia.
Yeah, and this is the place where Bond meets up with Jeffrey Wright and Ana de Armas, who are with the CIA, I believe.
Yes, and they're running what appears to be some kind of click farm.
Not one of the more glamorous locations for a Bond film.
No.
I bet Dan wasn't happy about that.
Well, I used to work with Greek intelligence on infiltrating what was then called Macedonia, is now technically called North Macedonia, to run a PSYOPs campaign to force the Macedonians to want to be called North Macedonia.
Wow.
Yes, we try to show them the word North as much as possible in Macedonian films and television. We had all the compasses changed. All the compasses in Macedonia only showed north, and slowly they turned around on the idea of being called North Macedonia.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
This is what we in the spycraft business first call the pledge, and then the turn, and then finally the prestige. It's now called North Macedonia.
That's very peculiar. And this trick, this prestige, you meant it often works where you have an identical operative who works with you.
Yeah, that
isn't it?
was what we were planning to do with Mike Pence. He was supposed to drown in a tank of water underneath a stage, but unfortunately, they never made it all the way into the Capitol.
Yes, very interesting. And so
I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Well, it's classified information. You shouldn't.
If we refrained from using such basic swear words, and there's other ways to flower your language, Nathaniel.
It just wasn't the script.
yeah. And so now the first action sequence is beginning, where Bond
About
is
time.
logged into Twitter, and this action sequence takes place inside of Twitter
Goodness.
and Facebook as well. It seems.
Sort of like Tron, but like more coding.
Yes, that's precisely what I was going to say as well.
It's like Tron without all the visual style.
And of
Very
course,
little.
one thing that many
poor.
people aren't familiar with in my particular role, that as well as being a physical language coach, I am also a computer language coach. So I did, in fact, give advice on the terminology of the hacking screen that you now see in the background. Traditionally, we've just had a black screen with lots of random green text just floating through. And what I really encouraged was that we used correct command data and so on.
Yes, because when you say that you're a computer language coach, you mean you are very much you're a coder, and you are a hacker as well.
Yes, I'm a level 35 in the dark web, in fact.
Wow,
Wow.
that's a
Yes.
high level.
Yes, I basically achieved all of my money through inheritance, but also Bitcoin.
And
So you
sorry, please go ahead, Mr. Cleese.
no, please, I had nothing to say.
That's one of the reasons why we speak up on podcasts. We have nothing to say. But speaking of the dark web, I believe your handle there is also kind of Bond themed because you are called Q.
Yes, it is ironic. Yes, I am indeed.
Oh.
But I would rather that you didn't divulge my very secret level 35 dark web name on such a public forum as this extra feature of this DVD.
Yes, but
I
have
mean,
you maintained
who
this?
still
this
buys
account?
DVDs? Let's be honest. Who buys DVDs? This is probably going to come out on Blu-ray as well.
Well, I do have the impression that maybe Nathaniel will buy a few copies, if I may not be mistaken.
I don't appreciate the tone of that. Let's just focus on the movie and
Yes,
move
yes.
on.
Let's focus on the movie. So the action sequence is now leaving the virtual reality and getting into normal reality, and Bond is jumping into a wonderful hybrid Porsche car, a German car. Very interesting choice there.
Yeah,
And it's
I
being
wasn't
driven
happy
by
I mean,
it's being driven by Ernst Stavro Blofeld, played by Christoph Waltz. They are driving together.
Oh, wonderful!
Just
what's
surprising.
What's really interesting to me in this scene is that, you know, Dan, he could act when he was a kid. He could act. He would say something to you and he would give it conviction. He'd give it realism. And you're watching this now and it's like, where's it gone?
And these were things like "I love you" and "You're my favorite brother." And
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you
well,
know?
I've done a background
How'd
check
you
on
know?
both of you. Do you think it's an accident that you were kicked out of the film?
Oh,
Well, it was Danny Boyle being kicked out of the
you
film.
think
no?
it's an accident?
You saying Dan might have been jealous.
Well, you know, Danny Boyle.
Of me?
Danny Boyle had a, you know,
Dan Craig.
yeah, well, yeah.
Do you think he might have been jealous of me?
Yeah, you can tell yourself whatever you want, but let's just say that Danny Boyle will have a hard time directing any more films with an ice pick lodged in his forehead.
I must say, I have noticed, Richard, that you do have somewhat of a fixation on the concept of an ice pick in the forehead.
Yeah, people
Or
don't
any
understand that
item, in fact, in the forehead.
the forehead is essentially the USB port of the human brain.
oh, wow!
Is it like a Basic Instinct thing? That was a nice pick.
Yeah, sure.
Was
I mean,
Rachel Weisz in that film?
In which film?
Yeah, I believe it was not her, right? It was
In which film?
Basic Instinct. That's
Oh
Michael
no,
Douglas,
that's
Sharon Stone.
Sharon
Sharon
Stone.
Stone.
I do confuse these female. In fact, I confuse all actors and actresses, I must say.
Yes.
Apart from Daniel Craig.
You'll have to email me later what your favorite Rachel Weisz film is.
I will make sure. I'll send you a top 10 list, in fact.
I can tell you that Sharon Stone crossing her legs in Basic Instinct it was a psyops.
Really?
Yes.
You know, that's very interesting.
I have a funny movie story about Rachel Weisz.
Oh, please! We've reached a dull moment. They're on a long car ride. They're actually Christoph Waltz and Daniel are in this Porsche car, and they're actually traveling just on the highway.
But I must say, we have to be careful. It is unfortunate because it is indeed a hybrid. They do at some point run out of electricity in the car, and they have to find the nearest charge port.
Yes, this is all sort of. I mean, we'll get to your story, Nathaniel, but I think it's very important to underline that this film is all sort of another psyops to make people think that electric cars don't work very well.
Absolutely.
Now, Nathaniel, your story.
Well, the moment's kind of gone, but it was just a funny movie story about Rachel Weisz that I was around Dan's for Christmas the last time I was invited there, actually, and there was a moment where Rachel touched me on the shoulder. And we shared a look, which kind of said, she kind of showed some regret. So just a funny little Hollywood movie story for you guys.
Oh, good God, that's great.
Yeah. I love it on commentaries when they do a little funny Hollywood story.
Yes, I love it too, yes. And so now this scene has kind of come to a conclusion. They've reached the charging port, and luckily for them, Q has installed a charging port in the middle of the Black Forest.
And this is where I believe, Ray Fiennes appears as M, the leader of the MI5 or 6.
Yes.
A little spycraft tidbit. The numbers behind MI, the MI5, MI6, all of that. It's the same.
Mission Impossible.
Yes, it's referring to the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh no, sorry, that's incorrect. It is, in fact, Mother, indeed. And it's a reference to the Queen. So when one is in utmost danger, one can say, Mother, indeed, 6, and then one is rescued.
And, it's up for debate. But in Monty Python, we used to always say that MI6 was the Monty Python 6. Which is fun.
I've actually been petitioning the British Intelligence Service to change it so it's like COVID-19. It's based on the name it first appeared, the year it first appeared.
Yes. So now we've reached a very important scene. With M has just explained that Bond will finally sneak into the headquarters of what appears to be a very new tech company that is basing itself in the Black Forest, actually, and it's called the Dark Web. Is that what this is all about? I think.
I believe Baroness.
Now we're going to see him use his gadgets. We're going to see him use his gadgets now. All the gadgets from earlier. That always happens. They always show the gadgets and he uses them later on.
Indeed, and the first gadget that we can see here is in fact a Black Forest gatto, because he brought that with him. But of course, hidden within the cake is in fact 6 knives, all pointed. And if he picks the cherry on top and twists it 90 degrees, all of the knives shoot out. But he's not going to do that.
Cheeky reference to Knives Out.
I was going to say it's absolutely is a reference to that. The big chair. What was it? A chair?
It was sort of a set piece.
Knife chair that they had in that movie.
Yes, and
we should hear what his one-liner is when after he's used the cake. It's coming. Oh, they could have done better than that. Aren't you the cat that got the cake?
Yeah, I don't even.
What does that even mean?
If that's in reference to anything. That's actually what a lot of people don't know, and I can tell you that this is a code that activates a Manchurian candidate somewhere in the world who is watching the film.
So, oh my God! So that's very interesting. So, that someone sitting in this cinema or watching this on-demand video that they're suddenly activated in some capacity.
Yeah. A lot of
The Mancunian candidate. What's that, like Liam Gallagher or something?
Hang on. You gotta walk us there. So, is it because Liam Gallagher is from Manchester?
He's a Mancunian.
He's a Mancunian.
That's what I thought you said. Sorry.
Yes, in fact, this is specifically targeted at Liam Gallagher to finally murder Noel with, guess what? A nice pick to the forehead.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, people are
Brotherly love. They have had a very difficult brotherly
try
relationship.
to implant a lot of this into Oasis songs, but the way Liam sings them, he never quite captured the message to activate himself.
How can I get one of those thingamajigs you talked about? So I just say a word and like your brother gets killed. How can I get one of those things? Hook me up.
Well,
Maybe.
First you need to join the intelligence service and learn how to manipulate a person's mind like that.
No.
Okay, is there
Nathaniel,
an
sorry.
audition? Is there an audition?
Oh, please, Baroness.
I do have the feeling, Nathaniel, that you're in fact looking back in the past with some distaste, and I would recommend that you do not look back in anger.
Yes, and
I do believe that's an Oasis song. I just wanted to
I
point
would
out.
say that definitely maybe he should do that. And
I want.
yeah, well, you were gonna say if you wonder,
That's it, is it?
if you
Well, and so now we're here and in the scene in which Bond is finally meeting the arch villain. So this tech CEO, Rami Malek. So, Baroness, you worked very, very long with Rami on this accent that he's doing in this film, which is kind of hard to understand.
Yes, he is in fact doing a German accent, but of course we felt that had already been done. So we did a slightly different version, and we focused on Remy here is a person who was born in Germany but studied abroad in America and then did a gap year in Spain before spending 10 years on his career in the UK and then returned back to Germany. So his accent is somewhat conflicted.
This
and
is all
international.
true.
Yes, indeed. So you'll notice that particularly on the th, we give the German z, the z, the z. But of course, with the Italian, it comes out in the way that he says linguini, which in fact he's about to say in this monologue.
And there it is. There's Linguini.
I timed that wonderfully. I'm very proud of it.
Yes, wonderful, amazing. People are really going to get their money's worth with this DVD
Absolutely.
feature.
his character, of course, and this is true, is called Lucifer, which was my idea. I felt like he needed a name that didn't quite fully say that he's the devil, but almost did.
Yes.
Lucifer.
It's Lucifer.
Oh, I thought you were saying like Lucifer, but noose, like nuts, like because he's nuts. Lucifer.
Oh, yeah, that was... We workshopped, we threw a few of them at the wall. It was... Nathan was one of them. It was... Giselle Sebub was another one.
So her surname's Zabub.
Yeah, the Prince of Larkness.
I think you also did Mephistopheles at one point.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of names, but a lot of... I gotta be honest, a lot of the words in the English language and especially those that sound weird are already being used as activating devices for Manchurian candidates. So we have to be very careful with every movie, not just spy movie, not to use certain words.
You know, I'm glad we're talking about language because I find that things have gotten crazy nowadays with political correctness. I mean, there's words apparently you can't say because they'll trigger someone out there in the world to become, as you say, Manchurian candidate. And then there's also some words you can't say because they don't make people upset.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of the slurs the racial slurs out there are already being used to activate Manchurian candidates. Otherwise, I would rattle them off right now. I would say all of the racial slurs that you could imagine immediately now, but I'm worried about any...
Rachel slur. I wouldn't slur Rachel Weisz. Like, she's a sweet girl.
The things I would call her, if anyone watching the DVD commentary heard any of the things that I would call Rachel Weisz, they would immediately be activated and start, jamming whatever pointy things, like sticks and stones. They would jam them into people's foreheads. Pointy stones.
Well, so now we've reached very near the end of the film, it seems, and
it's crazy how time flew by.
Yes,
we didn't touch on any of those sex scenes. I'm glad we skimmed past those.
Oh no, we can talk about them now if we'd like.
Well, one thing I can, of course, say about the sex scene is we did want to make sure that, as we call them, the oohs and the ahs were correctly enunciated.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yes. The Queen's sex, as you like to call it.
Indeed. It's very important to me. The Queen, of course, says, yes, indeed, thank you so much. And it was important to me that we reflected that in the dialogue that Daniel and his counterpart has in this scene. And of course, it's very surprising that we actually see them having sex. Normally, that is, of course, not actually.
Well, I think this is perhaps because the script was also co-written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I think that's where we really see the impact of her work on this particular
And also
scene.
in every scene that Daniel Craig looks directly at the camera and confesses something.
Yes,
And
precisely.
talks about anal.
Yes, and now it seems as though near the end of the film, he's having an affair with a priest.
Wow.
It's great. We all love it. We're not allowed to not love this.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and of course, Daniel Craig there just saying the word kneel was very much Phoebe Waller-Bridge's.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we really worked on the way that he says kneel to make sure that it's not confused with the name Neil. Such as that.
Of course. We wouldn't want that, would we? No. So now, Nathaniel, does this make you uncomfortable watching these very, very hot sex scenes with your brother?
I'm just having memories coming back.
Did you have sex with your brother, Nathaniel?
This priest down the street, and I don't know. Like, we used to be friends before that. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to think this through.
All right.
I don't want to go into too much detail.
Nathaniel, I can put your mind at ease in that all those memories are implants that we put in there to make you more anxious.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you killed the priest with an ice pick. I got that one wrong.
Listen, my playbook isn't that simple. Sometimes I implant memories in people of them, having terrible encounters with priests. In fact, I can say that on this DVD commentary that the whole Catholic Church stuff, all implanted memories, and you can quote me on that.
So we might say sometimes you implant memories and sometimes you implant ice picks.
Absolutely.
Ha 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 ha. I'm proud of myself.
Why is this film called No Time to Die?
Yes, very good question.
A lot of people died in it, I have to say.
Yes, we didn't get really so descriptive about all this stuff, which is probably for the best for the listening audience so that they can see the film unspoiled. But I think if I can answer the question No Time to Die, it appears to be sort of a cheeky reference to the fact that everyone's so busy these days on social media and that you can't even afford a minute to pass away.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And we all agree, so is it that simple, the interpretation?
Yes. If I had kids and they use their phones a lot, I would definitely agree with that.
Yes.
I mean, of course, in the time of Google Meets and online schedules, one does sometimes find it difficult to add in an entry for time to pass away.
And just like that, the film has ended. And we ended, of course, on the striking image of James Bond with his ankles in the ocean, standing there in a linen shirt and linen pants, and you wonder where he is. Maybe he's in heaven, maybe he has died, but then no, we see, of course, that the priest is coming from the little church just on the other side of the beach, and he's living happily ever after.
And that's Daniel Craig done as Bond, because he's done now, isn't he? So,
Yes, precisely.
what a way to end.
What a way to end, indeed. I mean, and this is a bit of a huge spoiler that we just made for the podcast audience, but that is exactly how the film ends.
And,
Or
and
is it?
Nathaniel, you're hoping to replace him.
After what I said to Barbara Broccoli, that seems unlikely, to be
You
honest.
said something of.
I called her a slap.
Sorry, you called her what?
Called her a slapper.
Slapper. Okay. I thought you said something about like
It's not very-
her being some of your least favorite
Broccoli.
vegetables.
I called her. Yeah,
I
I actually like broccoli. I actually like broccoli.
Yeah,
so it
you
wouldn't be
said
true.
you, ma'am, are like one of my least favorite vegetables. A carrot. Sorry, I'm trying my hand at comedy. Sometimes in the past, I've tried my hand at comedy. I worked with Adam McKay
Oh,
a couple
yes,
of
you did.
occasions.
Oh, that must have been a very interesting experience doing different secret operative stuff, political operative stuff with Wall Street.
Yes, absolutely. I worked on those films in the capacity of a espionage consultant and not in any other capacity.
No. Now, so we've reached the end of the film, and the credits are playing, and this is part where we can just chat and talk and
Wait.
and
There
summarize.
is my name. Oh, it's gone now. But he did
And
briefly
wonderful
see
when you
it.
see the Baroness's name on the screen, and
Sorry, I found
none
that
of
rather
I don't. Maybe there, Richard. I just saw your name as an espionage consultant, and of course I'm not credited in this film at all, and neither are you, Nathaniel.
Sometimes I edit my name into the Bond films.
Yes.
I get the DVD and I take it into Movie Maker, and I can't make it look like the actual credits. Like it's the wrong font and everything.
Oh,
It's really big, but it's something that I do.
Well, this could be a good time. Maybe we go around the horn and just kind of closing thoughts on the film, things you liked, things you didn't like, things that you're working on now. Baroness, why don't you start us off?
So things that I liked, I had great influence, and as I said, I loved Daniel's pronunciation of the word martini.
Very nice.
Things that I didn't like is, of course, too many American actors. I would rather that everyone was from Eton who was taking part in the film. And what I'm working on now is increasing my Bitcoin empire and investing in GameStop.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes,
Very good. These are very exciting things to be doing.
absolutely.
Nathaniel?
Well, let me just try something for you. I mean, we all saw how he said that line with the cake, right? We all saw
Yes.
it, right?
Yes, we've all watched it.
Well, let's just see it with Nathaniel saying. Let's see how
Oh,
it goes. I knew the cat that got the cake. So I think we know the main problem with this movie.
Well, it seems you've settled it then, haven't you, Nathaniel? You've gotten your moment to shine.
Well, I was hoping for a bigger stage than this audio commentary,
Oh,
but
but you've no idea. You've literally no idea how many people are going to listen to this. It could be huge.
Okay, well, fingers crossed.
And Richard, any closing thoughts, things you'd like us to know?
Well, I would just like to tell people to keep using fiat currency and trusting the banks. It's very important.
Yes.
And to anyone out there who might be activated by the following words: cranberry, bubblehead, nectar. Then just you know what to do. You'll find the person, and you will probably find something sharp next to them. Could be anything really that you pick up and maybe jam it in some place. I'm not gonna like tell you exactly what to do. You know already.
Was it nectar or necktie? That might be unclear to someone.
You shouldn't have said necktie because you've activated another one right now.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Well, at least no one in this
Sorry.
call was activated, and that's a positive. I think that none of us jabbed an ice pick through our skulls. So, I guess I'll conclude.
It's one silver lining.
I'll conclude. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you all just for being here and doing this commentary. I'm sure.
By the way, if you hear that Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford has suddenly died, don't link it to me. It's not because of me.
Okay, I wouldn't necessarily, but I guess thank you all for doing this, and it's been a wonderful time. I guess my conclusion is that it was funnier than I expected. The film. I mean, maybe that was the genius of bringing in Phoebe Waller-Bridge, sort of a same lineage of comedy in the UK as me, and well, not that I identify so much as living in the UK anymore. I feel a certain pride when people have been inspired by me, and you can really see the Python's inspiration in so many aspects of this film.
We have no choice but to stand.
Yes, we must. And so this is the concluding from here from Nevins, a wonderful, beautiful place. I'm gonna just sit and relax at the beach all day, and then I'll probably send out my thoughts on some kind of new controversial topic. So thank you all very much. Enjoy. Take care. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Wow.
Whoa.
What an episode.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, I'm glad we
legend
gave that
himself.
spoiler alert at the beginning, because we know everything now.
I was so surprised by how this movie pans out and what happens in it. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm not clear what happens in it after listening, I have to say. But
yeah,
I
this
do
one
know
seems
a
like a
lot
head
about
fuck, I guess.
Yeah, I do know a lot about other stuff. I mean, you always learn something from the Boss podcast.
Yeah, and Stanner, you had an interesting moment during that recording where you tried to grab an ice pick.
Yeah, it's so weird because every time we listen to the episode plays and we sit here listening to it silently, and I had to be physically restrained by my girlfriend. I don't know what was happening to me.
Weird. Don't know either.
We have a couple of people to thank. Kieran Humphries and Emma Aldridge. I don't know what they did. They sound British, so they probably are related to the broccoli family.
So thanks to them, and
thanks to them.
also thanks to Bear Radio, the English language podcast network that hosts us online and have a lot of great podcasts that you can check out, as well as Bang List for our theme song, and Comedy Cafe Berlin, where we usually do the live shows, and is closed at the moment, but you can donate to it by going to comedycafeberlin.com/donate.
Yes, great. And like Bond, I would love to go get a martini now.
Oh,
shaken,
God.
not stirred.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Anyway, well, we're going to go now, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Berlin. It's the Berlin Open Stage Show. Berlin. It's the Berlin Open Stage Show.
It's the boss.
Oh yeah.